existence in the North American LCS, neither team competing today has missed a trip to Worlds. Only one will have the opportunity to represent North America, while the other must wait till 2019 to compete again. Bjergsen, Jensen, Sneaky all entered to the applause of fans. We'll see whether TSM or C9 Chance flood the arena after the series today. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the NALCS Countdown, where for 30 minutes we give a rundown of North America's teams going to Worlds. Later on, Aframu joins the desk, and we put him through his first JAT stats until the timer reaches 0, and we jump into Champion Select. But, gentlemen, it's the official last day of the North American LCS season here. How you feeling?
I am so disappointed there was no cornhole. We've had cornhole all season long, and we don't end the year with cornhole.
I don't know, man.
What's the world coming to?
An end, clearly.
Yeah, I've been spending all my time watching the regional qualifier finals from all the regions, and I think it's fitting that we have two of the most historic teams in North America playing for that final spot, because that type of matchup is happening in a lot of regions, right?
Right.
We had these crazy season, but in the end, it's the teams you know fighting for that last
A lot of old guard teams making the final run to Worlds. We got TSM and Cloud9 today. To kick things off, let's pull up the gauntlet bracket presented by Jersey Mike's Subs. The tournament has only had 6 games so far, as the higher seed has gotten the better of their opponent at each round along the way, ending in our finals battle between one of the storied matchups of NA, TSM and Cloud9. Now, Game 3 of yesterday's series, though, marked the end of the season for another team. So with a heavy heart, it's time to say farewell in RIP Echo Fox.
You know, there are a lot of ups and downs with the way that we play. But whatever, dude. Ride hard or die.
And it's really nice to see you guys again.
Dardox, Fox Dardock.
Wait, who's gonna get the eye?
The mental boom.
You can pinpoint it back to this example.
Oh!
But whatever, dude. Ride hard or die.
They're too good, man. They're getting more and more brutal.
More
and more. I love them, but
Getting left hanging was the most painful part for me.
The Rift Herald eye, I just love Zyrene. The pain that you can feel Zyrene is having in those moments of not seeing it get picked up. But
honestly, Echo Fox was one of the most entertaining teams to watch.
They are.
The whole year. You never knew what you were going to get in
high highs,
Fox
low
game.
lows, man. But exciting nonetheless. Now, before we break down Cloud9 versus TSM, let's take a look at the two teams we know will represent North America at Worlds, starting with our 2018 Summer Finals champions in Team Liquid.
Spring Final champion, Summer Final champion, double 3-0 in finals, first place in so many of the major categories in the 2018 summer split. Really, a lot of people putting NA's hope behind them, much like at MSI. Strength of the team, double lift, but more importantly, being able to play around the bot lane with their entire team.
Yeah, that's the thing, is as much as it's the double lift-led team, the rest of the team does a great job of supporting him and setting that up. You saw that in the finals, just how much control went to like the bot side river to make sure that he had the room to work with and then making plays around him. It doesn't mean that they're not without some concerns, however, that we have seen kind of exposed at the international competitions they did attend.
Yeah, absolutely. Even in some of their losses to C9 at the end of the regular season, which added suspense to that final, you were wondering, would Pobelter be able to hold up against Golden Glue Svenskeren, against Jensen Blabber, or against international mids like we saw at MSI, and especially looking at what a lot of the mid lane champion pools are coming down to. There are more and more skill matchups in the mid lane, I feel like, especially if you're going to opt into some of the more volatile stuff like a melee champion in Aurelia. You need to be very solid in that, and Pobelter would have to step it up.
Concerns around the mid lane. Let's talk about the jungle, though, because Xmithie has, in my opinion, been one of the few North American players that across the majority of his international performances has just always seemed to be relatively consistent. Does seem like one of the factors you can rely on.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of variables that we're talking about. You have the Pobelters and the Oles who are a little bit concerning. Xmithie is kind of one of those rocks that you actually think might be the most reliable member on the whole team. Just the experience that he brings, being able to play from behind, which we saw numerous times, which is going to happen at Worlds, more so than it happens domestically. So you have to be prepared to lose some things, have things not go correct, and Smithy is the guy on the team who we know can bounce back from that. Impact probably being the other one.
Mentioned briefly, but Jat, so much of this World Championship for Team Liquid is about shirking, that performance that they had at MSI. It was a disappointment. It's part of why we don't have a Pool 1 seed when it comes to the group draw.
It's the whole reason we don't have a Pool 1 seed.
Right, that part, sorry.
Yeah, TL is the one to blame for that. They put themselves in Pool 2, but they were able to surge towards the end of MSI, and so much of this is about trying to go in confident and not being discouraged at the first sign of adversity, which is what I think happened at MSI. They got scared, they stopped taking risks, they were expecting every team to play perfect. And if you're assuming your opponent is perfect, you're gonna lose every single game because you can't be that perfect in a game like League of Legends. So they need to go in confident. I need to see Ole the whole time. We can't see Joey again at Worlds like we saw at MSI. And that's the worries the Team Liquid has, but they overcame a lot of that, it felt like, throughout the summer split.
Right, start strong, and then how will they react to their first loss at Worlds? That's going to be a question to be answered. Of course, it was great to hear from the guys in the post-finals interview. Ole feels that he has built quite a bit of confidence, and for good reason, over the last 6 months, and so hopefully that showcases on the world stage. The other team joining them, of course, is 100 Thieves. Met them in the spring finals and then qualified off of championship points. What are our feelings around this squad at the World Championships?
Well, they're a team that has gone through a fair amount of changes, and even as recently as the last matches they played in North America, they were swapping between their marksman position. I think that's what a lot of people are looking at them to try and figure out what their plan is and how they either are they sticking with one or are they going to keep trying to move between the two marksmen if they're bringing different strengths.
Yeah, we saw Rikara in the semifinals for all 4 games. He won the first, lost the next 3. We saw Rikara start the finals. He won the first, but then Cody's son came in and lost 3 of the next 4. So neither lineup has actually looked necessarily stellar. They need to figure that out. They need to recapture what they had towards the end of the spring split, where they were the best team at the end of the regular season. But they have a lot of time to prepare for that going forward.
Decision making around which AD carry or what look they want to bring to the world stage. But one, again, couple factors of consistency for this team and top performers. We're looking at the top lane in Someday and, of course, Afromu in the bot lane.
Yeah, and Someday, being one of the MVP candidates, had a monstrous season, by far his best in North America. And this is a guy who was considered arguably the best top laner in the world back when he was starting in Korea. So all of us are super excited to see him now taking the stage for North America at an international competition when he does look so dominant.
Yeah, the team was very much about Someday and Afromu this split because Someday so often would generate his own advantages, but the team had really good macro, which I attribute a lot to Afromu, and more of the ability for the rest of the team to play around vision very well. Something that does instill some confidence for me with 100 Thieves is when you watch them go into a game around even gold at 20 or 25 minutes, they don't need to fight you to beat you. So if they're up against a team that isn't from one of the major regions, I think they should be able to get fairly consistent victories where we've seen a lot of times in the past those teams can sneak wins off the North American group stage. I hope that doesn't happen. I don't think it will happen to 100 Thieves.
I mean, yeah, Worlds in a lot of ways is a tournament of upsets and some chaos. And so if you can be the one consistent team through it all, perhaps that gets you farther than some of the teams that, hey, have those high highs and low lows.
Yeah, you're concerned about the Gigabyte Marines, the Albus Nox Lunas, and I think, we're looking at 100 Thieves as a team that should be one of the best positioned to deal with that because even if things get crazy, they have that veteran leadership and experience to hopefully pull things back to a more normal state.
Just a small preview of the World Championship. Of course, we got one more team to qualify for North America. We're going to take a break. When we return, Afromu joins us on the desk and we gauge the stakes of this historic matchup. As we go, though, it's time for the conclusion of the greatest trilogy Mic Check has ever had, the return of the pie.
Oh, go Baron. Yo, Cutie, go. Cutie, go Baron. Can you beat him 1v1?
It's a 1v1, man.
But Cutie, do you win or no?
Hell no, I don't. What the?
Wait, what if I get ganked? No, I'll gank them.
Yeah, we'll be the enforcers.
He's level 9.
We'll be in the enforcers.
You guys think I win this?
All right, yeah.
You can do it. You can do it. You can do it.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Are you ready? Want to kill contracts?
Yeah, let's go contract.
This guy started up on me. Let's go,
He's
dude.
running out like a coward.
Oh, come on. I'll see. You guys ready?
Yeah, let's to the.
Wait, do you want to leash?
Oh, yo, he's on me. On me. Oh, dude, they're
Oh,
cheesers.
these BMers.
Wait, what?
They're
These guys
fighting
are
us. They're
BMers,
fighting
dude.
Wait, are you
us.
serious? Cutie!
He's trolling.
Wait, they actually fought that.
He's cheating.
Desperate to win.
We win that.
wait. I'm coming back. Oh, I'm coming back, actually.
Cutie's trash. That's funny.
Wait. Boy?
I'm styling on him, baby. Wait, what's the block doing here? No! I was popping up, dude. Come on.
All right.
I'm going to Morton.
That's huge damage. Morty.
Yeah, we can go, Morton. Oh, wow. It's actually one shot. I died to Draven, damn.
Nice.
Other one, you killed me again!
Sorry, dude. What did we do?
You had no mana. Yeah.
Wait, this is so easy. What the heck?
Hey, you kidding me? Dude, you want to start an LCS team?
Yeah, you want it? Hey, can I play mid lane?
No, you're not on the
Someone give me a knockup, please.
Yeah,
No. I'm 4 and 5. Yo, Cutie, stop. I'm 4 and 5. Don't go here. No, yes, let's go.
He got a kill.
Hey, let's go.
Why don't we give Mo another kill?
I can still win it. The game's not over. The game's not over, Matt.
Oh, I think it's over, Tyler.
Golden Guardians.
Golden
Watch Golden Guardians.
Yo, watch this. I'm about to clean up.
Golden Guardians, please, guys.
Sorry, Tyler.
Is ready, does have access to the ultimate and TP, and Poppy is far away. They're both gonna keep it a joint. Here comes the fight, 5v5. Is this the one that ends it all? Greg getting away, burning down, trying to stay alive. 2 for 0, clap 9, and they get chase to the opening hip. And on forward for Sneaky, they give Bjergsen.
Last time we played C9, it wasn't our best series. We still haven't really done anything for me to be proud of this split or this year yet.
We were in last place and made it to finals. We lost there, but now we're in the last round of Gauntlet.
If we beat C9, we have the biggest chance possible to redeem ourselves at Worlds.
If you win, you go to Worlds. If you lose, like basically your season's over.
It's the most important thing.
Like I want to keep playing. I want to go to Worlds.
Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to be the first to congratulate each and every one of you here in the audience today. Whether you're in the arena or watching from home, you are about to witness competitive League of Legends history. Since they each joined the North American LCS, the two teams about to play today have never missed the opportunity to represent North America on the world stage. That ends here. And how fitting is it that these two teams, who took each other the full distance in 5 games just 2 weeks ago, now have the chance to not only earn their own right to play at Worlds, but to snatch that right from the hands of the other org. This is a chance to redeem yourself in the eyes of the fans for both, and yet only one will have the honor of doing so today. It's one of the most storied matchups in the NALCS. It is the last chance to make it to the World Championship. It's Cloud9 versus TSM.
That it is, Captain Flowers, and I couldn't have said it better myself, so I won't even try. With that, we're welcoming Aframu to the desk for our final best of 5 of the regional gauntlet. How you doing, man? You watched the previous 2 series over the days?
Yeah, watched the previous 2 series.
What were your thoughts on how competitive they were?
The most recent one I turned off after the 2nd game. And
Fair
then,
enough. Fair enough.
So did Echo Fox.
Same,
Fair enough.
Same for the clutch series. It wasn't great.
So you sat through the pauses and then decided after the second game, like, all right, this isn't going.
Can't watch this any longer. But dominant 3-0s, I don't think that's the expectation for today. We'll dive into a little bit of a preview of that matchup. Before we do, I've got to hand things over to Jat for a perhaps final edition. I don't know if this is coming to Worlds with us or not.
Of North American
Jat stats. My goodness, Aframu, help us out with these ones.
Yeah, so I look at a lot of stats. I was looking forward towards Worlds and trying to find some like cool stuff. One of them I found was a team that has the best gold at 10 across a single world. So we were only tracking these stats since like 2013.
This is a North American team or
this
any
is just
team?
a team of Worlds, but I'll give you a hint. This team is already qualified for the World Championship. So if you can say the team that had the best one, and for bonus points, tell me which year it was.
Okay, so that gives a good hint that it's already qualified.
Yeah, it's a team that's already qualified, so I'm looking at something like
best gold at 10
initially
across an entire Worlds.
I would have said Samsung White because they were so dominant.
Right, but they're not here.
Samsung's not
so
it,
you're looking at
actually.
They
would technically be.
That does
I would count.
Oh, you're considering them Gen G?
I might be leaning 2014 Samsung White.
Well, then it could be them.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, so you've got Gen G, you've got RNG, IG, EDG. because I feel like it's got to come from one of those two regions. You're not probably getting that statistic unless it's from one of the crazy.
I mean, like Flash Wolves would be an option potentially because they've had some good early games.
Yeah.
And I could see them having a good run.
Do you think it's I mean, Samsung. The years of Samsung White, Samsung Blue were so
I'm gonna go
nuts.
Samsung White, but I really don't think it's the right answer. But I feel like
one of us you're gonna say 2014 Samsung White,
Right.
Dash.
Well, I'm going with that because remember what happens when I disagree with Mark.
All right.
No matter what,
I usually get it wrong.
No matter what happens. Like,
You're right.
have to go with
It's always
RNG.
bad for me. I just drag
RNG, yeah.
So after going with RNG,
no.
this one surprised me. This was Fnatic in 2015.
Their semifinal year.
Average plus 1,075 gold to 10 across the entire Worlds run.
So that was Origin,
Yeah.
Fnatic, deep run into semifinal.
Yeah, Samsung White was the second closest one. So second question.
All right.
We only began tracking jungle proximity in 2014, so that's where the stat begins. Which Worlds year had the highest average jungle proximity or the lowest? So it's like, can you, just in general, which year had the most jungle ganking versus the least jungle?
And this is starting in 2014. So
Yeah, so it's basically multiple choice. 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017.
So I'm trying to remember what the jungle metas were like for each of these, because you're gonna think it's gonna be a high ganking meta or like heavy like roaming support meta or something. So they're always near somebody.
It was either last year or 2016. Not
I can't remember
2015.
the
I
jungle
feel like
metas that well.
2015.
We have to do
2015
highest and lowest?
Yeah, I mean, if you get one of them, I'll say.
Well, 2015 was the carry top meta, so junglers were kind of in like support duty a little more, right?
Yeah, not the percentage, just like what year was the highest.
Right. I'm just trying to think of what the meta.
Last year was Ardent Sensa meta. 2015 was the Juggernaut meta.
Darius.
Yeah,
every
2014
game.
was like the Samsung White
Right.
and stuff. 2 NA teams going to quarters.
I'm saying
But
2015.
and 2014 was a lot of like
That was
turret
like-
trading.
It was like Lee Sin.
It's like grouping and turret trading.
Yeah, well,
right?
that's pretty important. The fact that there are 2v1s in it,
Yeah.
because that's something that's going to boost it up.
But that's why I'm thinking it could be something like 2014 simply because there was so much grouping early in the game to push turrets down. So by virtue, your
I put in
jungler
2015
has high
already. I
proximity.
submit 2015.
As the highest.
As the highest?
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
15 for lowest.
I'm gonna
15
go.
lowest?
14 highest.
All right. So Dash gets 2014 highest.
Woo!
The lowest was last year. The Ardent Sensor meta.
Yeah,
The lowest
that makes
jungle
sense to me.
proximities.
All right.
And also one of the years where we had no lane swapping, so I think lane swapping inflated it a little bit throughout the
Okay,
years.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Final question. The highest damage percentage a player has had across a Worlds run since we started tracking the stat.
No way, it's an 80 carry?
It's an 80 carry. It's not a mid laner.
Those people get babysit all game?
yeah.
Wait,
I
is
can't
it not?
believe-
Is it not Uzi?
It's for a Worlds run. You can guess
Is it
Uzi.
not? How could it not be Uzi last
You
year?
would think it would be Uzi.
right? Come on.
This player's also
Although,
qualified for Worlds this
again,
year.
well, great, he's done that. This is one of
No,
those
he's not,
situations
he's not.
where I feel
Sorry,
like
he's not qualified for Worlds this year.
oh, he hasn't
he
qualified
hasn't.
for Worlds.
Yeah,
this
that's
year.
a really good hit.
So it's not Uzi.
I can't remember the name.
Who are you thinking? Who are you thinking?
iBoy's not qualified, right?
He qualified last night.
Oh, he did with EDG, right?
Yeah.
Sure, okay.
Can this person still qualify?
Is it?
Yes.
Is it
Okay.
No, it's
I've
not
given you,
Bang.
I've
It's
given you a
not
lot of
Bang.
hints.
It's not
They haven't
Bang, is
qualified,
it?
but they can still qualify.
Bang.
Oh, they can still qualify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
What?
Oh, is it double?
Oh, it'd be,
I mean, not double
it'd be sneaky.
Sneaky, yeah.
It's Sven.
Oh, it's
Sven.
Sven.
It was
Oh.
Sven last year. In the group stage with G2 Esports, did 41.
Oh, it was such a short run.
Damage.
It was such a
6
short
games,
run. Didn't make it out.
2 games against.
You know why?
damage
You know why it
percent?
chose
Yeah.
sneaky though is because he had the one ridiculous Caitlyn game last.
Well, that's why I was thinking
Esports Championship. So in my head,
iBoy had the disgusting thing. Anyways,
Yeah.
what's
Yeah.
cheating about this is it's damage percent. So
Yeah.
like, there's basically like perk sucked and like Sven was just carrying, and that's why his
Exactly.
damage percent was so high as they lost.
all right, all right.
That's cheating.
A small preview of
so many hints.
of JatStats World
did.
Edition with some hints. Did not increase our success rate in the slightest. But when it comes to the rematch against Cloud9 today, Bjergsen feels that they were caught off guard last time, but are prepared today.
Last time we played C9, it wasn't our best series. I actually think we played decently well considering kind of our preparation, especially in the first couple games. I feel like we got outdrafted to some degree, but we were still able to kind of pull a win out, especially in the first game. But we just weren't really as prepared for what the Swole Bros were going to play in the mid-jungle, and especially Svenskeren on the Graves was kind of just a stable pick for them to farm up and scale into the late game. And it put a lot of pressure on us that we need to kind of get the game going before this guy gets a lot of items. So I think we're much more prepared this time.
Some thoughts from Bjergsen on the last time these two teams met, feeling a little bit more confident this time around. My question to you guys is, what does TSM need to do to make you confident in them as a 3 seed for North America at Worlds? So what they're proving today in a best-of-5 to make you confident moving forward.
I would like to see some continuation of the cleaner macro game that felt like we were starting to see in Game 1 of the Echo Fox series, as well as kind of finding their own unique voice and play style. Like, Bjergsen has clearly shown that he can play a lot of things, but I would like to see them keep going with the Kai'Sa and the Varus for Sven, either going for the most lane dominant, one of the most stable picks in the Varus, or getting the kind of hyper-scaling Kai'Sa for him. A lot of that comes down to the draft, and I think what was weird about the Echo Fox victory was, like, they smashed Clutch Gaming, and then Echo Fox got smashed, and both those felt like those teams kind of blew up a little bit, and so I would like to see, if they beat C9 here today in order to go to Worlds, I would like it to be one where C9 looks good as well. I want a tough matchup that they have to fight their way through and then make the Worlds.
Afro, what's your assessment?
Yeah, I agree. When I watch TSM's games, when Mythy looks like he knows what he's doing, you know, in the game with TSM, it looks like the whole team follows him and knows where to go. Macro looks cleaner. Mythy is always in the right spot, making the one play to counter the enemy's engage, etc., like he was doing yesterday.
Okay.
And as long as Mythy is able to get to the right spot, have his teammates get to the right spot, and play around their plan, they will do well.
All right, so a little bit more focus specifically on Mythy as being a linchpin to the rest of the team's success. What are we thinking down here?
Yeah, I want to see them go for proactive 1v1, 2v2, 3v3 plays and actually have them work. So much of the regular season, they were actually trying these things, but they were messing up the execution or the dive wasn't timed properly. If they start pulling that stuff off, since their team fighting is so strong and their experience is there, then I'd be more confident.
All right, hyper-focused on those skirmishes. Following a loss to Team Liquid just last week, though, for Cloud9, they come into this, best-of-5, kind of with a punch to the gut. If you were in Reaper's position as Cloud9's coach, what is your strategy coming into the best-of-5 today? I want to start with you, Aframu.
I think the strategy that C9 went with the TL in the finals, where they tried to have carry jungler versus Smithy, historically known to shut down all carry junglers whenever he plays against them, wasn't really a good strategy, but coming up against TSM, they should run the same strategy that they did versus TL, because it worked for them in the last series.
Okay.
I don't think TSM has adapted well enough for the Svenskeren coming in on Graves, Blabberfish with his Hacker Rim jungle, and then being able to snowball through middle, move around the map, should be able to, seal.
Strategy was a misfire at finals, given they were against Team Liquid, but should find more success here against Cloud9. What about the two of you guys? Any thoughts?
Yeah, well, I think the 2v2 for C9 is so important. I think even though TL is really good at playing around bot side, that series was lost in that mid 2v2.
Yeah.
They need to be able to get pressure with Jensen or Golden Glue, whoever's in there, and when they're up against Sej Aurelia, they're just not getting that in any other games.
All right, well, we got 3 minutes to go until game 1. So what do these teams need to do, in a sense? We've talked a little bit about it here, but I want to get some more specifics in win conditions for each of these squads. Mark Z, we're starting with you.
Yeah, and we kind of heard you guys talking a lot about it, which aligns very nicely with my win conditions about hold the Bjergsen pick as late as you can. We talked about you can play a lot of different styles. The 2v2 in the mid lane, very, very important. I want to make sure that whether it's the Swole Bros, the non-Swole Bros, he's able to see what's coming his way before he picks his champion. Early picking the bot and jungle, obviously following that. When they played their quarterfinal or semifinal matchup, there was a lot of jungle bans thrown at Greg, so making sure he doesn't get pinched all 5 bans or something like that, grab it a little bit earlier. And then focus bot jungle river vision a little bit. That's aka copying what TL did very well. I know Afro was saying he doesn't think, this isn't Smithy. Not convinced that they'll be able to pull it off with Greg, but I do think it was a good blueprint to at least approach the series with and try and emulate as best you can and see if C9 have adapted at all.
All right, Jab, bullet point form, C9, what do you got?
Yeah, so we already talked about picking a better 2v2. I think that starts with the jungle having a better 1v1. The Graves worked that well for a reason. I think TSM will be throwing bans towards it. But I also think C9 should almost overemphasize their wave control against TSM, because it feels like all TSM wants to do is group and team fight, so they might deprioritize those waves, and you can get a lot of advantages by split pushing. And it does feel like, to me, that C9 has buckled a little bit under the pressure. So this isn't exactly an easy thing to do, but just play like it's regular season, where C9 could say, hey, Blabber doesn't think, and that's good.
Yeah.
And then he's able to play kind of unlocked and free.
All right, the win conditions have been laid out, rather. Who's going to actually execute on them? In other words, coming away with the victory today. Down the line, predictions with your score, Mark.
3-2 TSM. I feel like the momentum is on their side a little bit more, and I do feel like they actually have legitimately improved, whereas the last time we saw C9 wasn't so great.
All right, 5-game series, this time going the other way. Aframu, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to go with 3-1 C9.
3-1 C9?
Yeah, I still think C9 has TSM's number coming up in this match, and it'll have to be on TSM to prove that, you know, they improved the last time they played.
All right, Jat, what do you got?
Yeah, I think so. You can mute right now if you haven't watched the rest of the regional qualifiers. But the experienced teams have won all of them. EDG won in the LPL. G2 just won in EU. Gen G, the former World Championships, won in Korea. And TSM is more experienced than Cloud9. So even though they lost in the semifinal, a higher pressure moment, the World's qualifier right now, I think TSM 3-2.
If we're to follow the pattern, you'll be exactly right. A couple votes for TSM, thinking Cloud9 still has TSM's number. It's sure to be an exciting matchup. With that, it's time for us to throw it out to the Battle Arena to get ourselves into Game 1.